Okay, so see if I can get this so I can have both me and the PowerPoint in it. Okay, so I am doing the Nurture Shock presentation for Chapter 5 to teach you about Chapter 5. And Chapter 5 is the search for intelligent life in kindergarten. Millions of kids are competing for seats in gifted programs in private schools. Admission officers say this is an art, but new science says they're wrong 73% of the time. 73% is a lot. Children are being tested in kindergarten to see if they are gifted and can gain access to prestigious schools. 7% of American schools have gifted programs, and another 2 million children will win entry into private independent schools. That's a lot of students, especially for not having a very accurate way of letting them in there. Schools want to identify the gifted students and give them the opportunity to use their talent. One problem, these intelligent tests in kindergarten are highly ineffective. Why? Because of the gifted students identified by third grade, only 27% were still tested into the gifted range. Not only that, many kids that did not test as gifted in kindergarten would be considered gifted by third grade. Why? Because in kindergarten, a child's brain is simply not developed. And because the tests are for testing present ability and not for future ability. That makes a huge difference because, yeah, they might be smart in kindergarten, but they need to be smart. Test for the smarts that they're going to have later in life, their ability to learn, which is not able to be calculated in kindergarten very well. For a child to test well is, as Bronson says, a golden ticket academically, because children are not retested once they make it into the program, so once they make it, they're good. This also means that the many students who test high in third grade may never get the opportunity or golden ticket that they deserve. So all these students that were in third grade that tested gifted now no longer have a spot because it's clear full of students that might not even be gifted now. Nearly 73% of gifted students would not be identified in kindergarten from an intelligence test. That means that there's 73% of our gifted students that we don't even know they're gifted. Of the schools who have gifted programs, most do not retest, and even if the students fall behind, they are not kicked out. Instead, these students who are remedial yet gifted are often given special classes to help them catch back up, which seems kind of ridiculous because they could do just fine in a regular classroom setting. This, as Bronson says, is an oxymoronic approach if there ever was one. It seems unfair in several different ways. First, students that are tested as gifted and are later or not stay with the program where they will most likely be behind and the lowest in the class, where in a regular classroom, those students might excel. That would definitely help with self-esteem. Next, this ensures that the gifted classes in prestigious schools are clear full. This makes it difficult for the late bloomers to even get a chance at that golden ticket. Why would schools do this in spite of all the contrary evidence? 1, many are still working off of the concept that intelligence is innate and stable. It's not. We know it isn't. Our brain is like a muscle that can grow as it's stretched. 2, they need to decide which students to admit, and they can't wait till third grade. They can't just admit everybody, and they can't just wait to test until third grade because they need to teach kindergarten. 3, why not retest? Because it is very expensive and most schools don't feel the need to. Studies have looked into emotional intelligence to see if that could be a predictor of later IQ because they still want to see if they can figure out what they need in kindergarten. So they are looking at different ways to tell if they might be smart later on because of it. Studies have looked into social skills as a predictor of IQ. The bottom line is children are just not developed enough at that age to predict their future performance, either emotional or social skills or even intelligence. It's just not a predictable age to test at. We've always known that the brain was complicated and bidirectional, which is why so much growth or reduction in intelligence can happen between kindergarten and third grade. Intelligence is not always equal either. A student can be gifted in one area and need special ed in another. Think of the billboard from Pass It On. As a student, he was no Einstein. Yes, Einstein probably would not have made it into the gifted programs of today. But we all know he was gifted. The thing is, we need to remember, is that students, you can't tell if they're going to be gifted until at least third grade. And to judge them as gifted or ungifted is cheating them, basically. Either making them be in a classroom that is above them or making them stay in a classroom that's below them. Thank you. Bye.